Just recording, and we're recording. So, welcome again to our Technology and Innovation Management series, speaker series at Nova School of Business and Economics. Today, we're in honor to welcome Francisco Bernardes, who is an Innovation Services and Operation Head at Exago HQ, an innovation company based in Lisbon, Portugal. Francisco, the floor is yours. And yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Professor, and thank you for having me once again in your sessions. And I'm very glad to be here and to be able to share with you a little bit of our experience and what we do at Exago. I'm just going to share my screen now and make it a presenter. I hope everyone can see my screen in the right manner. And please let me know if you can't. Just to give it 2 seconds so it buffers on your side. And yeah, I'm going to start. So basically, our session today, as Professor was saying, is talking a little bit about innovation coming from within corporate walls into open borders. So basically, especially now in the COVID-19 reality that we're living, we need to do it. We need to innovate. We need to find solutions for the needs that are erupting all around us, and that's pretty much a little bit of what we are going to talk about today. Firstly, a little bit of an agenda of the topics that we're going to discuss. So basically, how did I end up in the innovation field, and who am I? Then we're going to talk about what really is the way forward. Is there any other way than innovate in order to be able to succeed in the future? Then we're going to talk a little bit about the past, the present, and the future of innovation as we see it, and then how we at Exago HQ innovate and help our clients innovate themselves. So without further ado, how did I end up in innovation? So basically, I'm Portuguese man coming from Lisbon. I'm basically a pharmacist as a background. So I started studying as a pharmacist and then starting traveling a little bit around the world. So I did an Erasmus year in Madrid, then an internship in London at the end of my degree, and then, as most of pharmacists do, I went to community pharmacy to be the pharmacy manager for a small community pharmacy in London. After a couple of years, I decided that was not the future I wanted to live, and I enrolled in an MBA at Holt International Business School. That took me in modules in London and to Shanghai as well for some modules, where I had some projects in FMCG and also for other companies such as Pernod Ricard. After that, I returned to London for a consulting job, pretty much what most people after an MBA do. And then I had an opportunity to start exploring entrepreneurship and starting my own company back in Lisbon. That didn't go out very well. After 3 years, we had to close down the business, and I went to work for some digital marketing startups, and then ended up at Exago, where I am actually for the longest period of time so far. I'm also a dad and a husband, and basically I wanted to talk to you and to give you this overview of my life, professional life so far, because I think it's important to let you know that you're not born as a true innovator, and you're not basically you don't need to travel to become one. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that you should keep your minds open. You should try to experience as much as you can throughout the different cultures, the different countries, the different realities around you, and that will bring you to be a broader-minded person. And that is basically the background of any person that wants to innovate and that is willing to innovate, is to tap into that creativity and to tap into that diversity in order to be able to try out new things and to fail and to try out again. So basically, that's the key aspect that I wanted to pass on to you. So, and I work here at Exago. So what is Exago? Exago is a Portuguese startup company that is 12 years old. So quite a long life as a startup, but we're very proud of that saying, so to speak. So basically, we want to be a startup because we're nimble, we're fast, we're flexible, we experiment a lot. We're not very afraid to fail, and we easily adapt and embrace new opportunities. So basically, that's the key aspect of it. So we're able to dynamically change the way that we're moving forward and adapt to the needs of the industries that we work in. And that's what allowed us to have so many different clients in such different industries, like the banking industry, the retail industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the insurance industry. So basically, we are able to adapt very easily to the different industries in order to help those clients succeed in their innovation programs. We are focused on idea management softwares, and we're present around the world. So that's very exciting for us. Just before I continue explaining a little bit of what we do at Exago and what idea management system is, I think it's important to talk about innovation itself. So is there any other way forward nowadays than to innovate continuously? I really don't think so. Innovation grants basically the adaptability that the company needs to go forward. It gives you consistent business growth. It creates a better market penetration and some competitive advantage. Especially now in this time and age where we have so many companies struggling with today's situation. I can just to mention an example to talk to you about the company 360 Printing. So basically, that's a Portuguese company that pretty much provides printing services online. And what they did amid of the COVID-19 crisis, they just adapted their business model and created a new one where they basically have an online supermarket. So basically, they use the same logistics background services that they already provide, but they, instead of providing printing material and printing goods, they basically provide you groceries, which is actually what people need right now. So they were able to very quickly adapt their business model to the need of the market, and they were flexible enough to think that their core business would not survive if they wouldn't change. So basically, this just highlights pretty much what innovation brings to the table and what companies need to do in order to succeed. As you all know, it's the contribution of innovation to the world GDP is gigantic, and also to the economic growth of the OCDs is also huge. So basically, these are some of the numbers that are very well distributed, and everyone knows around the world, but it's always important to highlight them. Most of the companies now and the executives say that innovation is extremely important for their business growth. We all know this, but it's not a random process, right? So a lot of these executives are kind of clueless on how to proceed and how to change their strategy in order to accommodate for innovation. So it's important to have a defined leadership, to have an innovation strategy that complements the corporate strategy in order to move forward. It's important to create systematic approaches to the innovation management and to know exactly the processes that are following those systems and those programs. It's also very important, and most of the times this is what hinders the development of the innovation programs within companies, to have a collaborative, innovation culture. So culture within the different corporates, it's what normally is the limiting factor. So basically, you either have a culture to work extremely hard based on the corporate strategy that is focused on sales performance or a new product development, but it's very important to change that in order to have a collaborative innovation culture, so that people experiment a lot, people can change their minds, people can try and can fail. So this openness to risk and to experimentation is key in order to bring the companies forward, in order to change the way that we're doing business right now. So how has this changed over time, and why we're thinking that this is the way forward? So before, and it's still present in a lot of big corporations, as the ones that you're seeing in industries such as the pharmaceutical industry, technology industry, the fast-moving consumer goods industry. So basically, they have a lot of top-down innovation, a lot of R&D department, a lot of money being spent on those R&D departments, and those R&D departments are basically run by experts. So this is the way that innovation is perceived in those big industries, in those big companies. And there's nothing wrong with that, in a way that provides some results, and that provides some way forward and a pathway for them to succeed. At least they perceive that as being such. But what we've seen is that collaboration is ever more the key to success. So we've done a survey with KPMG back in 2016, where we analyzed how collaboration within the corporate environment changed the way that business performance was achieved. So basically, a key result from this study was that we could see that almost a twofold increase in revenue of companies that use collaboration and incentivize collaboration within their environments. So this is basically the key to success, is not only having these R&D departments, which are still important to achieve certain goals, but to have everyone on board solving challenges that are key for the development and for the future of each company. So the development of this idea and this evolution is the fact that most people and most companies now are building ecosystems, thinking about the future. So they have their own R&D departments or not. They can have their own innovation departments, but in order to solve their problems in the right way, in order to achieve the results that they want, in order to be successful and to have a high market share or to be more adaptable, they want to tap into this ecosystem in order to grow faster. So basically, instead of just thinking of their specialists, they're now thinking about how our suppliers can help us, how our C-level can help us, how employees can help us, how can academia help us. So in this, instead of just working separately, they're now working together in order to achieve the results and to achieve the answers to the challenges that the companies are facing nowadays. We have clients such as Grupo Fleury in Brazil, that they focus a lot on their core suppliers in order to achieve a higher process efficiency on their supply chain, for example. So they focus a lot in helping out their suppliers by asking them to help out themselves. So it's very engaging and very indirect, and the results are very positive. So they've managed to get a lot of good feedback by their program. At the same time and at the same level, they have an internal program where they interact with the whole of their workforce in order to solve specific problems that they're facing at the moment, which is also very engaging and very dynamic, because it not only taps into the challenges that the management think they're facing, it also taps into the challenge that the daily work faces, and at the same time, working together, they are able to find solutions that will solve their process problems, that will create new and engaging products, and that will give their company a best chance of succeeding in the future. And then the future ahead changes. We can see some changes already happening of companies that are not only creating open innovation programs, so in the way that they're creating open innovation for their own employees, but also to the broader community, but also tapping into social innovation initiatives, not only focused on their programs, on their products, on their processes, but also focusing on the world's problems. And this is very exciting because you can see that the companies that are running the world in a way are now focusing on how to solve that world, which is refreshing and a good way forward. I'll give you an example of a company that we work with, which is Unilever. It's been applying for many years now, and they created, along with the UK government, a program that's called Transform. So Transform has an objective to collaborate with innovators from Sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia in order to reduce poverty and make sustainable living a commonplace. So basically, they have a fund of around £40 million that they spread throughout different applicants that are focusing on specific problems on those areas. So basically, they focus on water problems and sanitation problems, hygiene problems, healthcare problems, and the companies are basically targeting those last mile communities, which is very exciting and very relevant, especially nowadays with the COVID-19 crisis. So just to give you a small example, a company that was funding was called HappyTap, and they're based in Bangladesh, and basically they just created a portable hand washing product, which is very unique because they can take it around and people can get it on their houses, and in these rural areas and slums in Bangladesh, people don't have access to that, and they don't have a behavioral incentive to do that shift, to actually wash their hands, to actually have some hygiene care, which is important, especially nowadays that we see so many requests from governments, from health, from the WHS, in order to wash your hands and to make sure that you are keeping safe throughout this crisis. So it's just a small example of a small company trying to solve a small big problem in a rural area in Bangladesh, how it can become very, very, very pressing in today's environment. Some more numbers that we have on Unilever. So basically, in 2 open seasons for accepting ideas, we got over 400 submitted ideas. Around 60 of these projects were already funded, up to £30,000, and they also received support from Unilever, from their partners on Transform as well. So it's a very, very good partnership that they created, and a program that it's achieved success in multiple ways. This is an open innovation platform for the broader sake, so anyone can participate, anyone can submit an idea, and it will be very relevant for the local areas that are being targeted. A different story that we have is open innovation within a company. So Carrefour is another client of ours, and they wanted to create this cultural shift. They wanted to bring innovation to all the departments, to get everyone involved, from the person that is in the supermarket all the way until the person that is on the senior management. So they launched the innovation platform in 2015, and since then they've had over 2,000 ideas, over around 90 implemented projects. And the good, interesting thing is that they've opened it up so that people from the supermarket floor can become part of the innovation team. So one of the team members on the innovation team was actually someone that was stocking fruit in the supermarket. So basically that person had an idea, they submitted the idea. The idea was quite good and quite revolutionary within their environment, and that person was invited to be part of the innovation team, and therefore it creates more of a sense of belonging, and creates more unity within the employees, which is quite the feat, I must say. The final example I have here for you is pretty much on a company that is very close to our hearts. So PT, formerly now it's Alti. So they've been our first client, and they've been with us ever since 2009. So they've run all different types of initiatives, from closed department-specific initiatives all the way to university initiatives, and therefore they've managed to tap into every different type of their ecosystem, which is quite exciting. They've had several different ideas, over 1,500 ideas implemented, over 16,000 ideas submitted. They've managed to get a return of 35 million in just 3 years. So it just shows the powerful impact that this a well-run innovation program has. So basically, showing you, after showing you some examples and after telling you a little bit about the results that our clients have, let's just tap into how we do it and what we really do. So basically, as Professor said at the beginning, we are an idea management software company, and we have the objective to get everyone involved into collaboration. So basically, we want to engage into the different stakeholders on the ecosystem, and to be able to get them all on board in the same platform in order to solve the company's challenges as they need throughout a time frame. So we have softwares that are targeted to smaller companies, software that are enterprise grade, and then open grade software, so to speak, so everyone can participate. But what's at the core of what we do, and what's at the core of our software? So basically, everything comes around the collective intelligence mindset. So we've all experienced it. Everyone knows about the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire TV show, for sure. So on that show, if you ask for the help of a specialist, there's a 65% chance that answer the specialist gives you, it's correct. Although if you ask to the help from the public, that percentage increased to 91%. And this clearly shows that collective intelligence is something that it should be appreciated, and it should be the core of any innovation workflow, so to speak. So our products are pretty much focused on that. They all have a core of collaborative intelligence behind it, and they all have a mechanism behind it that pretty much analyzes and flows the idea throughout the system in order to get to the best ideas at the end that can be implemented. How do we do it? So basically, we have a set of different consulting services and product, and we adjust that to the clients as they need. So basically, we can allow allow the client to create a strategic alignment for the program. We create the different process around it, the challenges that need to be addressed, that they need to be addressed by the community, and we create a pipeline of that. After that, we insert that into the software by having a different workflow. Basically, we adjust the workflow by the client the client specification. But the typical workflow has different stages, such as the collection of ideas, similar to whatever suggestion box that you have. But then it starts evolving. It starts becoming more elaborate as you go along. So you validate those ideas. You collaborate on those ideas either by improving them, by growing them, by creating teams to participate and to submit ideas together, by collaborative evaluating those ideas, by evolving those ideas in order to reach the final ideas that are actually that have very big potential to be implemented. This is all done by the community. It's not a top-down innovation system. It's basically a flat innovation system where the whole community decides which are the ideas that should be progressed and which ones should not. So basically, by creating this collaboration, we are able to tap into that collaborative intelligence of the community and get the better ideas moving along. Then those ideas are developed. Obviously, the business cases are created, prototypes, testing is created, and then in the end, there comes the evaluation and decision by the top management. Only by then the top management can decide pretty much on a top-down version of normal innovation. And then in the end, the implementation and the returns are calculated. Throughout this process, a set of analytics are always in place, so everyone can that is managing the initiative knows exactly how many people are participating, how many ideas. They can evolve their decisions in terms of communication based on those analytics, and also in terms of incentives, because we want people to give back. So we want to give back to people and want people to give back to us in order to have a successful innovation program. These are some of the examples of the clients that we work with. As you can see, there's clients from all different types of industries around the world, and this is it's very comprehensive list of companies. Well, there's still more that we haven't put in, but it just shows you a little bit of the map that we have. And I wanted to, before we conclude, I wanted you to think about these messages that are on this slide here. So we live in a strange time, right? So we know exactly what was in the past. We have no idea what's coming up in the future. We have some hints, but we really don't know how that's going to play out. So I think these are some of the ideas that some of the mantras that are coming in the future and that are here to stay. So remote work, video conferencing, obviously we're living it right now, and I'm pretty sure it's going to continue in the future. People first strategy is going to be key. Open innovation, digital transformation, and gamification are here to stay as well. So it's evolving. There's a lot of new things coming up, but it's just some thoughts that we need to think ahead. We need to plan ahead, and we need to adjust our life and our business lives according to that. So I think exciting times are coming. A lot of needs, as Professor was saying earlier, are being unmet, and that will bring to a lot of innovation coming in the future. But it needs to be focused on collaboration, focused on people, and focused on getting everyone on board and making it fun for everyone. So that's pretty much a little bit of the background thought process that is coming into moving ahead into the after COVID area. And to finalize, I just wanted to leave you with this quote, because I think that really expresses what we do at Exago and what we really believe in. So coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is success. And that's pretty much what we try to achieve with our clients there at Exago. Thank you so much. And that concludes my presentation. I'm open for any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. I'm asking now all the participants if any of the participants has a question. If not, I have a couple for you.
Sure.
So we'll give a couple of seconds for the participant to ask a question. But let's start with this one. So you mentioned two, let's say, two concepts. One is that the companies want to tap into the creative potentials of their employees. And the other one is let's collaborate with the outside world. Is there any difference when you talk with clients when they think about these two types or concepts?
The difference, I think, it's in the maturity of the clients. So pretty much everyone already heard about innovation. Not everyone has done it. Not everyone knows how to do it. So that pretty much defines the steps into getting to the end point, so to speak, which is having a very healthy and successful innovation program. That's pretty much what we try to achieve with all our clients. So I think the first step is to tap into their employees, because that's the first barrier into solving their daily challenges, their processes, their new products. So that's pretty much what all the clients that want to get into innovation start thinking is, how do I go about it, and how do I start to scale it up? So I'll just give you an example. We had a client here in Portugal, which is Pestana Hotels, and they basically pretty much had a plan of doing that exactly. So how do we set up an innovation program? How do we adapt that into the fact that we have different locations and different hotel businesses around the world? And then how do we tap into a wider ecosystem? And that's pretty much the way forward when you want to start up with some innovation program. So you have to start thinking about, how do you involve everyone? How do you change your culture from within? And then how do you address all the different stakeholders that are involved in your business?
And just to follow up on that one, so it seems like people are more feel safer when they are innovating with their employees than with the external stakeholders. Is that correct, or?
I think it's not that they feel safer; it's that they feel they have to do it that specific way. So if you put yourself in the shoes of an HR manager, for example, they will say that you're running an innovation program to solve problems that we have within our company, and if you don't tap into our workforce, the workforce will be resentful in a way. So if you change the cultural mindset within the organization, they will be much more prone to participate and to endorse with those ecosystems in order to collaboratively solve the problems together. So basically, I think the first step to tap into their employees first is always logical in the way that they want to address that hurdle first, in a way, because there really is a very big potential to tap into that knowledge and that intelligence. On the other hand, you have companies that want to do two at the same time. So they want to target new product development or new challenges to think outside of the box for the open world, and they want to focus on their incremental innovation and their incremental processes, increment their processes and improve them from within. So they separate those two, and they start working the two concepts at the same time, which is also very valid.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now, another question is, we have these idea management systems for quite a while. Does that work? What are the experiences from?
Yeah. So basically, I'll spin the question to you. So basically, if you think about it, if you have a suggestion box in an Excel file, and you're a 1,000 company organization, how do you go about it? It's very ineffective. It's very complicated to get everyone on board. How do you communicate with them? How do you get them to sign off the things they need by the time they need it? And especially if you think about the structure of an innovation department, which most of the times there isn't any innovation department, it's very thin. So you need something in a software that allows you to create the whole program and the whole initiative to run itself. So
Just a second. I mean, you need the software. The software is good. and
Yeah.
that makes a lot of things flow, and you have all this structure. But in the
Mm-hmm.
end, well, how you evaluate the innovation is by the outputs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
does that whole process, and then the flood of ideas, and then the whole process around it, does it create more frustration than the tangible outputs for the company, or is it really something that always brings back the value, and is something that is regarded as a good tool?
For so far, we've been around for 12 years, and I think it's regarded as a very good tool. But to think about it and to answer your question in a more pragmatic way, I think it comes back to the mindset that you have coming up to this. So it's very hard to have a very tangible and an ROI of I don't know how many millions in the first program that you have. It can happen. It has happened. But if you have to think that in innovation, it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of fails before you actually succeed. So in order to have a good outcome in the end, you have to have good expectations at the beginning. So it's all about the journey. And in order to achieve success, as many of entrepreneurs will tell you, they failed miserably before they actually got the right one, the right idea. So the system allows you to target and to know exactly what's happened in the past and what the workflow is. It's transparent. You can tap into and return and receive the return on that idea. You can know exactly the pipeline of return that you get. You can get this estimated pipeline, so you know exactly the outcomes as long as you set it up and you have the whole platform in place. So to answer your question, yeah, I think it's a very good tool, because especially in the organizations that want to set it up, they wanted to create ecosystems, they want to get everyone involved. It's very good to have a place where everyone can go, everyone can see what's going on, everyone can participate. They get called into the platform, they get to interact with everyone, and they know exactly what the outcome is at the end. So I think that will basically come down to the expectations that are set at the beginning, the goals that are set, and the KPIs that are set. So as long as that's set up in a way that everyone is aligned and everyone knows exactly what's a success and what's a failure, I think it is a very good tool.
Okay, that answered my question, and it seems that you have a very good clients who are happy with
We do.
with your services.
Fortunately, we do.
That is very good. So I didn't see any other questions from the audience. They're shy today, but I wanted to thank you for your time. I know that it's not easy and that it's a big challenge for everybody to juggle with the family obligations, with jobs, and that's
Yeah.
to respond to our request. Many thanks, and I wish
Thank
you
you, Professor.
safe and healthy to you and to your family.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for listening. If you have any questions, just go to our exago.com website, and our contacts are there, and we're happy to answer.
And on LinkedIn, if you search
Yeah,
for
sure,
you, then you will see also your LinkedIn, so probably they can reach out to you. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.